Hey, if you have been keen, you must have seen that there is a political fight going on in Luo Nyanza. Raila Odinga, who is the Luo kingpin, is under attack in his territory by the new government-backed Luo intellectuals. In Luo Nyanza, as we know it, dishonoring or even having a counter opinion that of Raila could lead to a political demise despite your talent or passion to serve. The political power Raila wields in Luo Nyanza cannot be compared to any tribal king in the political history of Kenya. So guys, before we talk about the government-sponsored attacks on Raila Odinga, we must talk about his dramatic yet strategic rise to be a Luo Nyanza demigod. I call him a demigod, not a political king, because he is more worshipped than obeyed. It started after the death of his father, the former Vice President Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who was the Ford Kenya party leader in 1994. After the death of Jaramogi in 1994, most people thought that Kijana Wamalwa, who was the vice chairman then, should automatically become the party leader. But Raila Odinga will not have it that way. To him, and most Luos who backed him thought that because Jaramogi was his father, he should automatically inherit his seat and become the party leader. This will bring a lot of fracas and a lot of infighting in the powerful Ford Kenya party then. And after a lot of fighting, Wamalwa's argument won, and Wamalwa became the party leader. Raila would not accept defeat, and so he resigned and formed his own party with other Luo politicians. And these Luo politicians who backed him then was Job Omino of Kisumu and Otieno Kajang of Homa Bay. He formed a party that was called National Development Party, NDP, which had a party symbol of Tinga. And Tinga means the bulldozer. And we will see that the party symbol became a reality of his political actions or political strategy, as he exercised an irresistible force in uprooting and disposing all his political enemies in Luo Nyanza and the country as a whole. In the 1997 general elections, he surprised many by becoming the third after President Moi and Kibaki. defeating his political nemesis Kijana Wamalwa in votes and also in the number of MPs elected per party. National politics aside, it is in the Luo Nyanza region that his Tinga campaign really took effect. Most of the senior and experienced politicians, where he uprooted all the leaders that were against him. Most of them were intellectuals and found Raila and his politics as abrasive and backward. They taught Raila Odinga not to be their academic class, as they questioned his credentials. These Luo intellectual leaders, which include Wilson Ndolo Aya, Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, James Aggrey Orengo, Joe Donde, Ocheng Oneko, Dalmas Otieno, and Professor Ouma Muga, were either lawyers, social scientists, and or university professors. Some even sided with Kijana Wamalwa, who was a King's College London lawyer. Most of these intellectual leaders, those who won, of all these intellectual leaders, those who won the 1997 general elections, I think was James Orengo and Joe Donde. All the others lost to NDP candidates. And these two who won the 1997, James Orengo and Joe Donde, will lose their seats in the next general election of 2002 for running against Raila Odinga in the general elections. In which in 2002, Raila Odinga tightened his grip of power in Luo Nyanza and becoming the political demigod that he is now. And you will see that he will lose the name Tinga and get another name, and that is Agwambo. And Agwambo was coined in 2002, meaning an enigma, somebody who cannot be fathomed, somebody who cannot be explained or cannot be understood, a mystery. It is important to add that most Luo Nyanza intellectual leaders came to the fact that Raila Odinga was their king and towed the line and became his loyal lieutenants and became again political, and then given back their political powers. Of these include James Orengo, Dalmas Otieno, and Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. Raila was to Nyanza as a male lion is to his pride. It has been so till now, 2002, where there have been a rise of another clique of Luo intellectuals who, having seen the lion of their pride is weak, old, and has suffered defeats 5 times in the national arena, think it's time to attack and control the pride. These intellectual leaders include Miguna, Evans Kidero, P.L.O. Lumumba, Professor Ojienda, Okoth Obado, Nicholas Gumbo, Eliud Owalo, Charles Owino, Jack Ranguma, and Fred Outa. Most of these intellectuals have been given senior government posts, from cabinet secretary, permanent secretary, to chief administration secretaries, and finally, chairman of board of parastatals by the current regime of President William Ruto. they are using the government machinery to fight Raila Odinga, weaken his power and his godly influence in the region. They have full support of the President, William Ruto, and are seen occasionally at State House having meeting with the President, and and the talk or the argument that, or let's say the explanation that they say that why they go to State House is the development of Luo Nyanza. But guys, we must also accept the fact that there have been a despotic rule in Luo Nyanza, which has always been repressive, since it is hard to control a very educated population like the Luos without having a firm hand. So Raila has been having a very firm hand in the Luo Nyanza. But the problem is he has not had a development agenda in the Luo Nyanza for the past 20 years. He has only had the development agenda when he became, when he was given the handshake by Uhuru Kenyatta. But before then, even when he was the Prime Minister, he never had a development agenda for the Luo Nyanza. And this is one of the things that the new intellectuals, with the backing of President Ruto, are attacking him on. Raila has always used cunning strategies like fighting for presidency, which unifies the Luo tribe under him to make them view him as their liberator and savior, who will bring to them presidency and the national cake. With this tactic, he has been able to wed political dissidents in Luo Nyanza, who could jeopardize his authority or supremacy as to rise against him. As to rise against him is to be anti-Luo or anti-Luo agenda. Although Raila Odinga has had rebels who have risen against his rule in Luo Nyanza, they were always defeated, crushed, and subdued. But this time, ladies and gentlemen, his enemies have united, which they have never done before, and most importantly, they have government machinery, which they have never had before. The enemies know that Raila is weak now, having lost for the 5th time the presidency. So this is not the Raila of yesteryears. And they know now that he has aged. He doesn't have the energy or the oomph that he used to have. And knowing this, the clever William Ruto, the political genius William Ruto, has been courting his influential lieutenants, and they've been betraying Raila Odinga to get government appointments or government deals. Never has Raila Amolo Odinga been publicly betrayed like this year in 2023. Those who have refused to betray him have been blackmailed and cajoled by the government into keeping quiet in times when Raila needs his lieutenant to actively support him. These are the likes of Ali Hassan Joho, Ledama Olekina, and Junet Mohammed. This was an unexpected move from the President, Ruto. As political pundits always said before the general election that whoever will win the 2002 elections will put an end to the political career of the other. As the political feud was deep and was bloody. Having said that, one must understand that Raila Odinga is not fondly known as Agwambo for no reason. He's an enigma, and when seen defeated, blooded, and cornered, he always finds a way to outsmart his enemies and get what he wants. Knowing this, I am quite sure that not all who are crossing the floor and swearing their allegiance to William Ruto are honest in their endeavors. Some are political spies sent by Agwambo to know what the enemy is thinking, how he can counter, attack, and as always outsmart the enemy. Agwambo will use any trick, and the political tricks remain, and any political tricks to remain the Luo kingpin as long as he breathes, including and not limited to using the bipartisan talks, meeting Ruto and offering him a better deal than the Luo intellectuals, which he has been trying. He could easily tell Ruto that he acknowledges him as the president if William Ruto will agree not to do any initiative or appointment in the Luo Nyanza without consulting or heeding his advice. And this will be a catastrophic blow to the Luo intellectuals. To completely destroy the rebels who have united against him and make him maintain his rulership of the Luo Nyanza, as it has always been his plan. So it is not the last we see of Raila Odinga. He's still a king, but I doubt he still remains the demigod that he always wanted to. He has always wanted to be. So this is my opinion. Please share your opinion on who will win in this supremacy battle in Luo Nyanza. Will the Luo intellectual win this time, or does Agwambo has another bullet to kill the enemies with? Share, comment, like, for me to put on or create other videos like this.